Okay, all right. So, oh, that's very cut, yes. If there's one premier who could block out the sun and all the media, it would be the birthday boy, Premier Eby. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. It's a great pleasure to be reunited. I'd like to thank you, Premier Lance, for your strong lead, for your hospitality first, for last evening, and for hosting us all here on the island, and for your strong leadership of this province and coordination of the Council of the Federation. I'd like to acknowledge on behalf of all colleagues that we're meeting during one of the worst wildfire seasons in our history. It's ramped up tremendously in recent weeks, and on behalf of all premiers and all Canadians, recognize the work of our firefighters, our emergency crews, members of the Canadian Armed Forces who are working relentlessly across the country to battle these fires and to keep our people safe. We're meeting today in Charlottetown, the birthplace of Confederation, 1864. Leaders from across British North America gathered a few blocks away from here. At that time, trade barriers, internal trade barriers, were holding back growth. Major infrastructure projects required cooperation across jurisdictions, and there was a threat of American invasion. Plus ça change. Oui. At that point, when the fathers of Confederation, and unfortunately it was only fathers at that time, and there were many others excluded, what they suspected then is what we know in our bones today, that our unity is our greatest strength and that our destiny is in our hands. As everyone knows, on Monday, the U.S. administration announced its intention to impose the latest in a series of unilateral, unwarranted trade actions. And we're clear. Canadian governments around this table will do whatever it takes to defend and support our families, our workers, and our businesses. Let's also be clear that we are in a stronger position than we were when this trade war started 18 months ago. We're in a stronger position because of the determination of Canadians themselves, and, I will say this, because of the focus of the premiers around this table. En réponse à ces mesures et ces menaces sur la souveraineté canadienne, les provinces, les territoires et les Canadiennes et Canadiens, d'une locution à l'autre, ont été solidaires et ont pris les mesures nécessaires afin de soutenir notre économie et de défendre nos travailleurs, nos agriculteurs, nos entreprises et nos familles. Depuis mars dernier, nous nous sommes réunis à 14 reprises, dont 5 fois en personne. We also met virtually just on Tuesday to coordinate a united Team Canada response. We'll continue these discussions shortly without the media in the room, including how we can make the most of our expanding trade network around the world, because Canada has what the world wants, including being a reliable partner in a world that's anything but. Nous sommes en train de bâtir un réseau commercial qui fait l'envie du monde. Le Canada a déjà un accès préférentiel à 1,5 milliard de consommateurs grâce à ces accords de libre-échange conclus avec 51 pays qui représentent environ les 2 tiers du PIB mondial. Et nous avons l'intention de doubler cet accès au marché d'ici à la fin de l'année. Je tiens à remercier le Premier ministre pour avoir dirigé plus de 50 missions commerciales depuis notre dernière rencontre en janvier. 50 depuis janvier et plus de 130 depuis mars 2025. We're all working to diversify our partnerships abroad, doubling the scale of those markets to over 3 billion people around the world. And we're building strength at home, building one Canadian economy. The federal government has removed all its barriers to internal trade. Why we had barriers to internal trade is beyond me, but we've now removed them. Critical to our strategy, as you know, is getting major projects built quickly and responsibly. 9 of 10 provinces have concluded one project, one review agreements. There's some processes to complete those, but 9 of us have got to those agreements. I'm confident we'll all be in that position. The government has already referred 27 nation-building projects to the Major Project Office from every region of the country, representing $200 billion in investment and helping Canada to build more, move faster, export more, trade more with the rest of the world. On internal trade, we've been putting our unity to work in practical ways, making it easier for Canadians to buy from each other, sell to each other, work with one another. I commend you on the agreement on Tuesday to let Canadian brewers, wineries, and distillers sell directly to consumers outside their home province, putting Canadian products first on Canadian shelves. Well, in Canadian homes, I guess, if it's direct to home, but I will be testing this agreement. I can assure you. So, Doug, I'm looking forward to Ontario implementing it. Ou, Madame la Première Ministre, peut-être parce que j'ai un chalet au Québec, alors I'm hedged. In January, we agreed to bring in digital verification for tradespeople by the spring of next year. And those negotiations are underway, and I know we all intend to push them forward. And we're going to discuss some further ambitious ways to cut regulation across our economy. We're all working to unlock Canada's full potential as an energy superpower, including implementing this plan to double our capacity of our electricity grid by 2050 to power a glowing economy. Now, that will require the full force of United Canada working together and stronger connections between our grids. Cela nécessitera des investissements de portée historique dans la production, le transport, la distribution, le stockage et la modernisation du réseau électrique. Ces nouvelles consultations nous permettront d'étudier ensemble les façons les plus efficaces de financer les travaux afin d'étaler les coûts dans le temps pour les harmoniser avec les retombées. Et notre gouvernement s'est également engagé à modifier les règlements sur l'électricité propre pour assurer la fiabilité et l'accessibilité de l'approvisionnement énergétique à court terme, tout en poursuivant la transition vers une énergie plus propre. Crucial, all of this is connected. The interties, the incentives, and the proposed changes to the clean electricity regulations, which is the responsibility of the federal government, so that we can build out our grid and build it in an affordable way that advances the energy transition. This morning, I'll just give a couple salutes to some important steps. Our government, man to my right, Minister LeBlanc, was part of an important announcement of an expanded transmission line. Actually, you weren't part of this. I'm going to take credit for this. Between Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. Premier Lance, I believe this was the first thing that you raised with me when you became Premier. As well.
First, maybe the second.
What was it? What was the first?
Bridge.
Oh, the bridge. Well, we lowered the toll. I hope Premier Houston, it's only $20, still $20, right? Yeah, we changed that. That's right. It's a good deal as you go back over the bridge. Premiers Holt, Houston, and Lance also signed an agreement to plan and operate their electricity systems together between their provinces. An agreement that you're going to try to take some credit for, Monsieur LeBlanc. But I'll just point out a couple other things. In Premier Eby's leadership on many things, but including the North Coast transmission line, or the Northern Critical Conservation Corridor, including a transmission line. Clean power opens up opens up economic development in a vast part of British Columbia, but also creates the ability to have these interties with Alberta and Premier Dixon with Yukon to provide clean power there. So we'll discuss ways to move forward on electricity today, as well as possibility of building out and expanding carbon market across the country. So I'll finish by just observing that we face, in some respects, many similar challenges to the Fathers of Confederation 162 years ago, but we have many more advantages. It starts with being more diverse, better representation. We're more prosperous, more focused, and we have the lessons of history. And the core lesson of history is that when Team Canada is united, there is nothing that we can't do. So, comme vous disiez, Madame la Première Ministre, au travail. Let's get to work, and I will now turn the chair to the chair of the Council of Federation, Premier Lance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister, and welcome. Welcome to my colleagues from the Council of the Federation. Welcome, Minister LeBlanc, Janet Charette. Welcome to Prince Edward Island, and I know that all of you had the opportunity to enjoy some hospitality, a bit of PEI culture and food last night. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. As the birthplace of Confederation, this is a special place to hold these important conversations. And history shows that when leaders put their heads together here in Charlottetown, that good things happen. So Canada's always strongest when we work together, and that's been the spirit of our discussions over the past couple of days, and it's the spirit I hope continues around this table today. Premiers have had thoughtful conversations about the challenges facing Canadians, but we've also spent time talking about opportunities. Opportunities to strengthen our economy, opportunities to make life more affordable, opportunities to build a stronger, more united Canada, and opportunities to improve and strengthen our health care system. That was a significant part of our discussions here yesterday, and I know it dominated the federal, provincial, territorial meetings of finance ministers right here in Charlottetown just last week, and we're hoping that we can continue that conversation. Over the past 2 days, we've shared ideas, challenged one another, and found common ground. While every province and territory brings its own perspective to these discussions, we've been united by a common purpose, and that's delivering results for the people that we serve. The conversations that we've had over the past 2 days have prepared us well for today's meeting, of course. We've identified areas where provinces and territories can move together and where partnerships with the federal government will help deliver better results for Canadians. That spirit of collaboration is what the Council of the Federation is all about. Canadians expect governments to work together. I hear that all the time. They expect it and they appreciate it. They recognize it when they see it, and they respect it and appreciate it. They expect us to tackle difficult issues with respect, listen to one another, and focus on solutions. And that's exactly what premiers have done this week. And it's why today's meeting is so important. Prime Minister, we appreciated the time you gave us on Tuesday to talk about the latest tariff threat from the United States. And on behalf of COF, thank you for joining us on Prince Edward Island here today. We appreciate the opportunity to continue the productive relationship that's developed between the federal government and provinces and territories. And I will say that during our discussions yesterday, that was recognized. And I'm not just saying it here in front of the cameras. We said it behind closed doors as well. We appreciate that relationship and that collaborative relationship that you fostered here. So today's meetings gives us an opportunity to continue moving all of these conversations forward. And we all have different responsibilities, but we share that one common goal: building a stronger Canada and improving the lives of the people that we serve. All of the work we do around these tables, that table yesterday, this table today, it's important work that matters to this country. Over the past 2 days, we've demonstrated that while provinces and territories may not always approach issues in the same way. We sometimes have different priorities or even competing interests. We share a commitment to finding solutions and delivering results. So I look forward to today's discussion. I know that by continuing to work together, With openness, respect, and shared sense of purpose, we can build a stronger, united Canada.
Very good. Thank you very much, Premier. Thank you all. I'll invite the media to go sample some Islander hospitality for a few hours, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the conclusion of the meeting.